Interim budget for the fiscal year 2024-25 on Thursday. India has been on a 7+% growth path for the last 3 years, and the finance minister can be expected to keep the momentum going despite not being able to present a full budget ahead of the parliamentary elections. In fact, a finance ministry report has said India can aspire to become a $7 trillion economy by 2030 by sticking to the path it has followed so far.
India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is set to present an interim budget for the nation on Thursday, a few months ahead of the general elections. It may not be a full-fledged budget launching a flurry of schemes, but expectations are high that the Finance Minister will maintain a policy trajectory which will keep the Indian economy on its over 7% growth path.
इस बजट में फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन एक इम्पॉर्टेंट टॉपिक निकल के आएगा, जिसकी वजह से एमएसएमई सेक्टर को काफ़ी बढ़ावा मिलेगा और इस चीज़ के लिए फिनटेक और बैंक की और मजबूत पार्टनरशिप की ज़रूरत है, जिसकी वजह से बैंक एक न्यू एज टेक्नोलॉजी इम्प्लीमेंट कर पाए.
The annual budget is normally preceded by the economic survey, but ahead of the interim budget, the Finance Ministry has brought out a report titled Key Highlights of the Indian Economy, a review, where it says Financial year 24 marks third straight year of 7+% growth of the Indian economy. This strong growth has been recorded despite the global economy struggling to grow at 3+%. India can aspire to become a $7 trillion economy by 2030. Public sector capital investment has surged in the last 10 years. GST has incentivized production on a larger scale. MSMEs are becoming increasingly vibrant and dynamic. Investment incentives and initiatives to ease business compliances have strengthened the ecosystem for startups. Agriculture sector has demonstrated tenacity and resilience. Measures have emboldened banks to resume lending to all sectors. There's greater inclusive development, much lower unemployment rate, moderate inflation. Digital public infrastructure has transformed the authentication ecosystem. The cost of conducting eKYC has been brought down from ₹1,000 to ₹5. India has become the third largest fintech economy in the world. India became the world's fourth largest stock market by market capitalization. Employment situation in India has experienced a positive transformation. 53% women used their own bank accounts in 2015-16. 78.6% women used their own bank accounts in 2019-21. Female labour force participation rate was 23.3% in 2017-18. The ratio went up to 37% in 2022-23. India has undergone a journey from fragility to stability and strength during the last 10 years.
We know that the last 2 years have been characterized by a number of shocks, risks and great uncertainty. Quickly, if we go back, it's really, I had projected, others had projected a growth rate of 7% plus minus over these 2 years, but then the Ukraine war happened. And then many people, including myself, reduced the forecast by 0.5. But we have been surprised, right? So my range was 6 to 7%, and as you pointed out, we've had 7.2%. So that's an interesting aspect, and I'll mention only one thing. One of the most important drivers of that was the change in the budget to increase the capital expenditures. That's been a huge driver of growth, and economic analysis has shown that that's because the expenditure multiplier of the Indian government on capital expenditures is very high. It's about 2.5%.
It's not just the government which is lauding the transformation. It has come in for praise by the topmost international institutions and figures. Earlier this month, World Economic Forum President Borge Brende said that India is a $10 trillion economy in the making in the coming 2 decades. In December last year, S&P Global in a report said India will become the world's third largest economy by 2030. A month earlier, Fitch Rating praised India's medium-term growth estimates while reducing China's. October 2023 saw the IMF forecasting positively about India's contribution to global economic growth. It said India's contribution to economic growth is expected to rise by 2% to 18% over the next 5 years. The Finance Minister is expected to keep India's growth momentum going with her interim budget, keeping equity and sustainability at the forefront.